Hello dear viewers, and welcome back to our channel, where we bring you not just the headlines, but the rich, often quietly profound stories unfolding at the heart of the royal family. Today, we witness a chapter that feels almost as if it was scripted by history itself, because it carries within it the ghost of Princess Diana's compassion, reborn through her son in a way that is stirring, deeply human, and, some might say, long overdue. On what would have been Diana's 64th birthday, her eldest son, the future king, did something that speaks volumes. Not through grand ceremony or tearful tribute, but by traveling to Sheffield to mark a milestone in the cause that may well become the most defining of his life. July 1st was not chosen by accident. That's clear. Prince William was there to commemorate 2 years of his ambitious Homewoods initiative, the bold national project he launched in 2023 with a promise many dismissed at first as impossibly idealistic, to make homelessness rare, brief, and never repeated across the UK. And to do so not with scattered charity events or seasonal sympathy, but through a structural transformation, tackling root causes, shifting mindsets, and building alliances from council chambers to local kitchen tables. The timing couldn't be more symbolic. Because if there's one legacy that William has carried most visibly from his mother, it's the moral imperative to see, truly see, those whom society so easily ignores. Homeless men and women who become the blurred scenery of busy streets. Vulnerable families one rent payment away from ruin. Children lost in unstable homes, living lives of quiet dread. It was Diana who, famously, first took her young sons by the hand and led them into homeless shelters, to sit with people others crossed the road to avoid. She didn't just tell them to care, she showed them how. William was barely a teenager, Harry even younger, yet those lessons clearly carved themselves into William's very understanding of what it means to be royal. Not simply to wave from balconies, but to use that platform to challenge stigma and soften the harsh edges of life for those who have it hardest. So when William stepped into Sheffield this week, the significance was layered and powerful. Here was Diana's son, now a man of 42, heir to the throne, still walking the same path of empathy his mother set for him. Only now, he carries not just her compassion, but the weight and the opportunity of the crown itself. The Homewoods program, in just 2 years, has become something extraordinary. Working across 6 pilot regions, Sheffield, Newport in South Wales, Aberdeen in Scotland, Belfast in Northern Ireland, Bournemouth Christchurchpool on the southern coast, and Lambeth in London, it has sparked over 100 active projects. Each tailored to local needs, each trying to turn the tide long before desperation becomes street sleeping. And here's what's perhaps most remarkable, it isn't only about building shelters or handing out hot meals. It's about prevention. William has made it clear from the start that Homewoods isn't meant to simply patch wounds, it aims to stop the injury before it happens. That philosophy is quietly revolutionary. As Lydia Stazen, former director of the Institute of Global Homelessness, said this week, "We've had countless crisis interventions. What William is championing is prevention, at scale. That changes everything. Just look at the numbers starting to come in." The program secured a stunning £42 million investment from Lloyds Bank, over $50 million to develop new housing models. A groundbreaking sum that William's team hopes will break the dam, encouraging other financial giants to follow suit. This is how systemic change begins, not with royal handshakes alone, but by leveraging them to draw in the kind of capital that can build futures. And yet, even with these big figures, William keeps returning to the human level. Ahead of his Sheffield visit, he wrote an unusually personal open letter to the communities involved. A letter that, according to insiders, moved many to tears. In it, he thanked the teams, praised their creativity and grit, and shared something close to a rallying cry: "We have the ability to harness our collective capabilities, expertise, and resources towards this common cause. I am immensely proud of your efforts. I am confident we can lead and inspire understanding, empathy, and optimism that homelessness can be ended." And then came the line that truly stayed with people: "Keep going." Just 2 words, simple, almost stark, yet from a future king, carrying the memory of a mother who devoted her life to the overlooked, they rang out like a quiet anthem. Because here's what's different. This isn't charity from above. It's a network being woven from the ground up. Local leaders, social workers, teachers, former rough sleepers themselves, all steering their own solutions. William has been careful not to make Homewoods about his image, but about handing power to those who hold the trust of their communities. As he said during a roundtable, those are the people who are really going to make it happen. During his day in Sheffield, we saw this philosophy in action. He sat with representatives from all 6 Homewoods sites, hearing firsthand how their unique strategies are taking shape. In one corner of the room, planners were explaining how to overhaul outdated housing stock. Across the table, a charity leader described supporting women fleeing domestic violence before they became homeless statistics. Everywhere, William listened intently, nodding, sometimes leaning in so close it seemed the whole room held its breath. He then visited a local school to see the Upstream Project, an early intervention program inspired by an Australian model that reduced youth homelessness by 40%. Imagine that, catching children at risk, not once they're on the street, but while there's still time to change the story. William smiled as students shared how their teachers now look for signs of housing stress, so they can connect families to help before crisis strikes. And finally, as if to anchor the day in something undeniably hopeful, William joined in celebrating the first residents moving into homes built as part of Sheffield's innovative housing plan. Keys exchanged hands. Small children peered out of new windows. It was a glimpse of a future Diana might have dreamt for these families, and her son, standing there, seemed to carry her legacy like a quiet benediction. Experts have been nearly unanimous in their praise. Polly Neat, former head of Shelter and Women's Aid, summed it up: "We've seen many rescue interventions, but William is showing prevention is not only possible, it's essential. That's the game changer. And perhaps that is what sets this moment apart. A prince who could easily have settled into ceremonial comfort is instead rolling up his sleeves, betting his future reputation on tackling one of the toughest, least glamorous problems facing modern Britain. All of it on his mother's birthday. All of it, it seems, to whisper to her memory, look, we're still doing it. We're still seeing them. So what now? Well, for the Homewoods program, the hard phase begins. Delivery mode means results will soon be measured in statistics that no amount of royal gloss can spin: how many housed, how many prevented from falling into homelessness, how many supported back to stable lives. William knows this. His team says he wants the scrutiny, because if they succeed, it could become the blueprint for tackling homelessness worldwide. If they fail, it will haunt his reign. And meanwhile, for Britain, it's another chance to decide what kind of monarchy it wants. One content to preserve privilege, or one that leverages it, relentlessly, for the people at society's fragile edge? Tell us, dear viewers, how do you see this moment? Do you feel Diana's presence in these choices her son is making? Does it change how you view the future of the monarchy, not just the titles and tiaras, but its very purpose? We'd love to hear your reflections in the comments. If this story moved you, please give us a like. It truly helps more people find these thoughtful royal stories. Subscribe and hit that notification bell, because we'll continue tracing how this bold chapter unfolds, alongside all the other intricate tales of the House of Windsor. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again very soon.